I'm Dr. Mario Trono, and I'd like to talk to you about fascist ecology in Aster's Midsommar. This is a very brief excerpt from an article now being prepared for publication. I account in the article for the array of ecologized film details that bloom from out the film's inversions, geometrics, and floral color scheme. The reason I do so is because Midsommar is a masterclass in terms of chromatic storytelling. And it's a test for viewers, a test of their visual and historical literacies. If audiences cannot see the signs and symbols of eco-fascism flowering directly before them in the clear light of a filmic day, they may not see it coming outside the frame. Through an eco-critical reversal of figure-ground relations, this article identifies an important eco-political subtext in the film. By grounding cinema in the eco-materiality wherein all forms of social organization take root, the analysis decodes the film's colorful and highly stylized invocation of World War II-era Nazi ecology, and that ecology's resurgent return in contemporary eco-fascism. When Danny's depressed sister decides to kill herself and her mother and father, she runs CO2 from a car in the garage into the home using a yellow hose, and the firemen who discover the bodies wear yellow helmets and armbands. The points of yellow in the gloom evoke the Nazis' choice of yellow to signify Jew. The firemen move towards the parents' bed, finding the couple dead with heads resting on yellow pillowcases near a flower arrangement bearing several yellow flowers. Gas suffuses the darkened air as points of citrine, saffron, mustard, lemon, cadmium, daisy, straw, golden, and sun yellows pop in the scene. This sequence is an early evocation of florality and the Nazi use of gas on concentration camp victims that this film evokes through the blue and white striped costuming on some characters that reminds of concentration camp prisoner uniforms. There are three parts to the key eco-political motif in this film that must be brought into relation through active viewing. The first is a perspective inversion that rotates a frame image upside down, not as an atmospheric end in itself to emphasize the strangeness of Harga customs, but as a way of encouraging viewers to imagine screen objects seen later as upside down and to glean significance from the result. The shot then rotates 180 degrees to flip the image, inverting the dark triangle of the road as the students drive beneath a sign with blue lettering that reads in Swedish, "Stop the mass immigration to Hälsingland." To emphasize the triangular geometric, the car moves past a yellow red-rimmed triangular road sign that, in the inverted shot, appears upside down. Consider the image at bottom right, because the second point of the eco-political key is the yellow triangular sacrificial outbuilding in which Christian dies. It stands in an open field in the Harga camp, with smaller triangles graphically nested within the front-facing frame. The third element is the totality of the dense arrays of flowers, the presence and colors of which, incrementally and symbolically, assemble in relation to Danny over the arc of the story. But what has exactly assembled? The answer comes if the viewer brings all three elements of the key together in optical and historical memory. You see, the film's color palette and graphical symbolism bear clear relation to the Nazi concentration camp badge charts that were used to identify the reasons prisoners were incarcerated. Consider the image at top left. The charts are the film's central symbolic intertext, the key to the film's color palette. The badge legends of the camps usually involved an upright triangle placed over an inverted one of a different color. If the dark inverted triangle of the road to the commune is placed in optical memory atop the triangular yellow outbuilding, then the camp symbol for Jews labeled immigrants or asocial is referenced. The chromatics of the camp charts are precisely mirrored in the heavily saturated hues of the floral color scheme that covers Danny and which adorns the festival prior to the human sacrifice. We see the primary and tertiary color play of vermilion red, cobalt blue, cerise pink, primrose yellow, purse purple, and celadon green. The motif of yellow running throughout the film, referenced at various points throughout this article, follows the fact that the most common badge in Auschwitz was the yellow triangle that marked prisoners incarcerated for simply being Jewish. The Times of Israel published an article germane to my subject here. It was called, "Is Holocaust Art Possible? A Murderous Shade of Blue is one painter's answer." The article describes a 50-painting series by Mexican artist Yishai Yesideman, who was struck by the residue left on the walls of Nazi gas chambers. The blue hues are due to a ferrocyanide compound, a product of the Zyklon B gas deployed in the chambers. Yesideman called his series of paintings Prussian blue after finding out that elements of the gas are used to create that particular pigment. His images are all based on photos of the gas chambers, their doors, tiles, pipes, and vents that seem painted almost entirely in monochromatic blue, lightened with hints of white skin tones meant to symbolize the Jews who were exterminated. The blue, gray, white walls of the chambers are entirely consistent with stones and the blue and white striped garments we see in Midsommar, a film that, like The Shining, eyes the Holocaust and its ecological moorings obliquely. The Harga are a contemporary eco-fascist community. As Danny is inexorably drawn into the cultural weave of the Harga, she has a nightmare where we can see all the coloration elements discussed thus far come into play. We have the blue and white concentration camp uniforms. We have the yellow marking the Jew. Danny's situation is tragic. She finally comes to accept as her triangular downturned mouth shape there is about to turn upright into a triangular smile. Her tragedy becomes clear to viewers in that she is finally drawn into the cultural weave of the Harga and accepts their barbarous ways as necessary. We see the triangle lower in the frame there, pointing at the now upturned triangle at her mouth. This is not a movie about a relationship. This film's final girl smiles on the final solution.